Hi, this is the video on proportion. I use proportions a lot in my math, especially in chemistry. There are other ways to figure it out, but I think proportions work the best for me. I think most teachers teach this in math classes, but just in case anybody doesn't know, a proportion is used when you want to find out an equivalent version of any rate or ratio. If I set up like an example proportion here, let's have this guy, let's name him John. This is John's car. Let's say he traveled 10 miles over the course of 6 minutes. Now we can rewrite this as a ratio. Mostly when you're setting up proportions, you want to use a fraction form. What I like to do to figure out what goes in the numerator and what goes in the denominator is to figure out where per goes in this situation. So like we have, for car mileages, we have miles per hour, and hour is just a form of time, just like minutes. So we would have miles per minutes, and the unit before per usually goes in the numerator, and the unit after per usually goes in the denominator. So if I write this out, 10 miles over the course of 6 minutes. But now what if I wanted to convert this to, let's say, miles per hour? Obviously, this is going to be an equal ratio to our miles per hour ratio. So an hour is 60 minutes. We're looking for the amount of miles he can go in 1 hour at that a constant pace. This will be our variable. We'll just call it x. So now we have x miles. And from here on out, there are multiple ways to solve your proportion. So the two main ways are, first is, let's do equivalent ratios, or that's what I call it. See, whatever you do to the denominator here, you have to do to the numerator here to get an equivalent fraction or ratio or whatever you want to call it. So we got to figure out, what do we do to 6 to get 60? And this is always going to be multiplication or division. And I guess to find out multiplication, since it's bigger, we're going to do 60 divided by 6, and 60 divided by 6 is 10, right? So we have 6 minutes times 10 equals 60 minutes. And now we're going to do that same thing to the numerator. So 10 miles times 10 equals x. And so 10 times 10 is 100 miles. So now we know that John has traveled 100 miles over the course of 60 minutes, and 60 minutes is an hour. So we know that John is traveling at 100 miles per hour. And there's another way we can do this. So we can solve this algebraically. So in all equivalent fractions, if you multiply the denominator of one by the numerator of the other, it will be equivalent to this denominator times this numerator. You can also call this cross product. That means that this equation must be true, so we can just solve for x. Here we have that x equals 100. That's our answer. Third way you could do this, though not as common, is really just find the ratio and then do that. So you can, just like how equivalent ratios goes across, you can also just do this down, or you can do this up. So like 10 divided by 6 is 1.6 repeating. We multiply the denominator by 1.6 repeating to get the numerator. So now we just do that to the other fraction, and 60 times 1.6 repeating equals x. 1.6 repeating is also just 1 2/3. If we just simplify this expression, 100 equals x. That's still our answer. No matter what method you use, you're still going to get the same answer if you get the problem right. Remember, the order always matters here, because let's say I did this, that would not work, because the orders here, miles per minutes, does not match this order, and that will lead you to an incorrect answer. Like if we solve here, we see that we got a totally different answer. And so that's why the order matters in your proportions. So you have to make sure that your order is the same. And using per might help you, like miles per hour or whatever you want to use. I'm just now realizing that I called it mileage in the beginning of this video because I was intending to do miles per gallon, but then I forgot and I just started doing miles per hour instead. So forgive me, I pretend I said speed. And that's the end of the proportions videos. You can always come back to this whenever you need. I'm going to use this a lot in my other videos. They're also just really good with a lot of other things in general. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, like whatever, if you want to see more chemistry stuff, even though this isn't chemistry, but this is going to aid in the other chemistry videos that I'm going to be posting. So if you want to see my chemistry videos, maybe follow or subscribe, whatever it is. And that's it. Bye.